and to introduce our last recipient of the Order of West Range, Shad Williams.
You heard the word laugh last and started to applause. Is that right? My name is Shad Williams, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much. I'm here to introduce my father, and introductions are hard, especially lunch introductions. So yesterday I introduced Chris, and last night, after I came back from dinner, met my friend Tony Williams in the lobby. He complimented me. He said, your introduction was really nice. You said some really good things. Your delivery was good, and just really appreciate what you said until you started crying, you sissy. Except you didn't say sissy. There'll be no, I did not cry, by the way. It was just a quiver. We give each other a hard time, and that is the way it should be. I'm here to introduce John Michael Williams. You'll recall him from such roles as the introduction he made a few minutes ago. That was a joke. You'll also recall him as the parliamentarian of the 2024 convention. So my goal is to be brief, memorable, funny, impactful, brief, truthful, and brief. But I'm introducing John Michael Williams, and the time is a challenge. The time limit is a challenge. There's so many things I could say. So I'll start with the basic. John Michael Williams was initiated in 1968 at Gamma Chi chapter at Oklahoma State University. That was 56 years ago. He's catching up with you, Andy. John was SMC of Gamma Chi and was instrumental in keeping the chapter together after the chapter burned down. So imagine that. The chapter house or your lodge or your dorm, whatever you're operating from today, burns down. And that's the subject of a book at Gamma Chi, but imagine as a chapter leader if your chapter house burned down, what would you do? Could your chapter continue? Well, Gamma Chi didn't just continue. They recruited the largest pledge class on campus, and several of those men are here today. They've gone on to do great things, lawyers, bankers, and great Pi Kas. John formed the friendships of his life in Stillwater, and he cultivated the innate skills he had to lead, and most importantly, to solve problems. His hobby is solving problems. It's not exercising, it's solving problems. That was an ad lib. That means I meant it. He was a great student, editor of the yearbook, and obviously a great Pi K. And I've heard so many stories from the late 60s and early 70s. I should probably hold a session after this luncheon on some of those stories, because it was a lot like Animal House. Again, that's another book. But he went on to law school at the University of Oklahoma, became a prosecutor in Oklahoma City, and proceeded to go into private practice, eventually owning his own firm. Today, John is president of the law firm Williams, Box, Forshee, and Bullard, and his firm is focused on municipal public finance and urban planning law with an emphasis on downtown economic development. John's practiced law in Oklahoma City for 50 years, and his legal work has included the development of this Omni Hotel, the Devon Skyscraper, which is taller than any building in Colorado, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Missouri. Take that, Steve. The Bricktown Canal, the Riverports Complex, the First Americans Museum, the redevelopment of the historic Skirvin Hotel, and the First National Center. He was also one of the 3 original developers of Bricktown, just blocks from where we are today. Among his civic activities, for 10 years he served as the chair of the Board of Regents for Oklahoma City Community College and was selected as the outstanding regent in the Western United States and Canada. He's now Vice President of the Oklahoma City County Historical Society and is member of the Executive Committee of the Board of Directors of the State Fair of Oklahoma. I'll sum up his professional experience with this. So the mayor of Oklahoma City, David Holt, who you met the other day, declared this formal citation recognizing John's contribution to the city. Excuse me while I whip this out. I'll read in part. Whereas John Michael Williams is a lifelong Oklahoman and significant figure in the modern renaissance of Oklahoma City, advising city leaders in every major initiative of the past 3 decades and serving numerous civic leadership capabilities. There's more to say here, but what's interesting about this is this was to be a major surprise citation from the mayor. So I followed the mayor after he introduced us and welcomed us to Oklahoma City a couple of days ago and said, David, it's really nice to meet you. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. Pike, I really appreciate you spending the time, and I'm really grateful that you spent the time with my father. I said, I didn't realize that you guys practice law together. And he interrupted me and said, we didn't practice law together. I worked for your dad. There's a big difference. And that's the kind of impact that he's had on this city and certainly on Pi Kappa Alpha. So there's a long list of awards, certifications, and accomplishments, and so many professional superlatives. But through all of this, he never stopped his work for Pi Kappa Alpha, and it's been happening for decades. Ray Oriens, our legendary Executive Vice President Emeritus, said, quote, throughout my Pike career, and ever since the first day we met 50 years ago, John has always answered the call for volunteer service. As a side note, when John was elected international president of the fraternity, he asked Ray to please not call him international president because he didn't want his clients to think he was traveling internationally for the fraternity while he was practicing law in Oklahoma City, which I think is fantastic. So from a fraternity perspective, he served as advisor, regional president, legal counsel, international vice president, international president, and currently serves as the chairman of Whitehorse, the real estate arm of the fraternity, which has incidentally grown its portfolio from $20 million to over $50 million in the last few years. I could go on, but I want to end with this. Dad, people really like you. Your wife loves you. I love you, which is nice. And we all want to honor you and your contribution to Pi Kappa Alpha. So I'm proud to announce today that a scholarship has been established in your name. An anonymous donor provided the lead gift, and we took that gift and we set a goal a few weeks ago to raise $56,000. Short-term goal to raise $56,000 during this silent campaign. And I'm happy to report that 56 people from Gamma Chi and beyond contributed more than $56,000 to endow this Gamma Chi scholarship. Now, 56 may seem arbitrary, but it represents the number of years you've been a Pi K. We're going to go public with a campaign to raise $100,000. Of course, there's no expectation that you serve for 100 years. It's not that tight a bond. But I'm not sure anybody would be surprised if you did. So thank you for your service, Dad. I am really humbled and honored and proud to recognize you as the Order of West Range winner. Thank you.
You have it? Get something?
Yeah.
Good.
Where's the medallion?
Where's the They said you have it. Everyone else got a medallion. Where's the medallion? Wasn't it on the table back there?
Ha ha!
Aha! Aha! Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Shad, thank you for that. I had no idea about the resolution. I had no idea about the scholarship. I so appreciate that being started. I appreciate all who contributed. I'm thankful for it. And I love you, Shad. You know I love you. Now, let's. I'm going to be pretty brief here, but I do want to recognize my family members. And just wait a moment till you stand up. But Jason Shepard, he's my son-in-law. He's a Pike. My daughter, Paige Shepard, she is a Alpha Chi Omega. And then my wife, Kathy Williams, is an Alpha Chi Omega. My son, Jeff, is a member of Kappa Alpha Order. My daughter-in-law, Paige, is an AD Pi. My granddaughter, Ramsey, is an AD Pi. My grandson-in-law is a member of Pi Kappa Alpha, George Jameson, and my grandson Tyler Sharp, and my other who's a Beta Omicron Pike, former housing officer at Beta Omicron. He's someone out here, and then my grandson Tyler Sharp, who's a senior in high school. They're all here. Would you all stand up so we can recognize you? Well, and further, I want to say, through these many years of Pike experience at the national level, international level, Kathy, my wife, she has been a partner with me in all of this. For the last 30 plus years, she's attended every international convention with me. And Paige has attended every one except one in the last 30 plus years. So I appreciate that. I appreciate what you've allowed me to go and do things involving Pi Kappa Alpha, and if you had male genitals, you'd be a Pike. Now, the next thing, I've been standing up here thinking, how in the world do I get you to laugh at the things I'm saying? You know, like Shad says things, oh my gosh, that's funny. You guys just laugh at that. Like, Dam Safety of Dams Act, that was really funny. And I didn't make it up. Your Honorary Andy Coates said it in public, in a public meeting. So it's okay to laugh and be boisterous and excited here, and particularly tonight, when you get to the banquet tonight, it's very important don't worry about are you not being civil, are you being rude? You're supposed to be boisterous. So that's the right thing to do. I think we lost some of our boisterousness during COVID. It was an unusual strain that only affected Pikes. But it's, thank you. Thank you for thinking that was funny. Yeah. I've done a lot of I've thanked people for a lot of things, but I usually don't have to thank people for thinking it's funny what I say. But okay, now I want to talk just a little bit about Pi Kappa Alpha. For me, my personal Pike experience, and I'd like to tell you what I did each year in my last 56 years. But 53 years ago, I initiated a group of men that was the first class after we rebuilt Gamma Chi chapter after the house fire burned the house down. And I initiated them 53 years ago. And they're at this back table. Would you please stand up? And I can't. And it's, yeah. And I'd like other Gamma Chi Pikes to stand up. Shane Pate, Whitehorse board member, and yeah. I'm one of you. Yeah. And you're mine. We're each other's. Okay? Thank you. Well, I could recognize and should recognize many, many people in Pi Kappa Alpha that have meant so much to me. And so I'm going, because of their number, I'm going to do them alphabetically. Actually, you don't want me to do that. Instead, I want to tell each of you, you know who you are. You know how much I appreciate you and care about you. You know what you've done for me. You know what you continue to do for me. And I thank you. I care about you. I love you. I know you love me. You're my closest friends in the world. My closest friends in the world are in this room today at lunch. So there you have it. Now, just a bit about Pi K. This is my concluding remark. It's like in church where you put your shoes back on when the pastor says in closing. Okay. In closing, the Pi Kappa Alpha has blessed my life. It blessed my life from the day I pledged and then was initiated 56 years ago. And it has continued to bless it, and it's blessed in ways I had no idea when I was an undergraduate that I would be the recipient of those good things that have happened to me in Pi Kappa Alpha. My mind could not conceive of the experiences I've had in Pi Kappa Alpha that are wonderful. I could not conceive that my undergraduate brothers would grow up to be really important people, like Gamma Chi Pikes here today, and others that I'm not going to go into. But they grow up to be someone. They grow up to be someone really important. Well, think you'll grow up to be someone, undergraduates, someone of consequence, someone who makes a difference, someone who brings about a better world. And look at your roommate. Look at the SMC. Look at the individual who's not an officer, but is a loyal member. Those folks will become someone, and you'll be so proud of them. So, and that will bless your life. The proudness that you'll feel for them. So, I thank you very much. I'm honored to have this award. It's regrettable that Shad left it on the table, but I love him anyway. Okay. Okay.